Hello friends, this is a greeting of the great Saint Francis of Assisi. May the Lord give you his peace. We are approaching Christmas time, so let us investigate the miracles of the very first Nativity Scene of Saint Francis, the incredible, the holy man of Assisi. He had been to the Holy Land many years before, and ever since then he had been carrying a desire within his heart, a stirring, and it was growing in intensity. How was he going to express this desire? Where did all the nativity scenes that we see in the world today begin? Had something to do with this. Now, welcome to this channel. It's called Great Saints, and here we talk about angels, saints, and demons as well, the demonic world, how it influences us. That is exactly what we'll be looking at and discussing here through a series of short stories. And if you do happen to recognize me from my previous channel, Padre Pio, then this is a completely new and separate channel, a new endeavor, certainly with no financial links, but only by way of inspiration. So please do make sure then that you've subscribed to this channel. And once you've subscribed, hit that reminder bell. If you want to be part of this the Great Saint series, it's a new apostolate we're doing. So let us go back now into the mists of time. And the year is 1223, 800 years ago, and good 3 days from Rome, when we come across such a beautiful valley, the stunning Ritti Valley. And we carry on a little bit further, and there we come across a little village, Greco, an enchanting little place. And Greco was, we could say, the new Bethlehem, where our Lord, of course, was born in Bethlehem. It's a picturesque area, Greco, beyond expression. And something was about to happen here. And the people, they are stirring in anticipation of this. But what is it? And so we can continue walking now up into this little mountain. And there we come to a little cave. This cave is now a shrine of devotion. We go into the cave, and there we see the saint of poverty, Francis of Assisi. And this cave in the rock is literally his dwelling place. And perhaps he has just another rock or piece of wood as his pillow. He has for a habit, for clothing, sackcloth. And the fire that he gains from the wood around him is all that he has to keep warm. And there St. Francis is, kneeling on the hard stony ground, deep in prayer, seemingly oblivious to what is going on around him. Perhaps he's in a state of ecstasy, because now he is about to bring to reality this calling, that calling, which he had received all those years ago when he was in pilgrimage in the Holy Land. The calling comes from the original little town of Bethlehem. And we know from the Christmas carols, of course, that Bethlehem, that's where our Lord Jesus Christ was born. And our great Saint Francis has received this grace, a calling. Over time, this calling, as we said, has grown, has increased. It's now a burning fire within his heart. What was he going to do to express his desire, which was given to him from heaven above? And Saint Francis had but 3 years of life left. So it was going to be now or never. What was he going to do? A significant event that changed the face of Christmas for all of us. Now, St. Francis was a man with literally not a cent to his name. He had nothing except a heart full of love and sincerity for our Lord Jesus Christ. There was not a shred of hypocrisy with him. He had long since discarded all of that. And so this was the perfect clay that God needed to change the direction, the course of nations. St. Francis had chosen poverty because our Lord had chosen poverty. Our Lord was born in poverty. And now, with Lady Poverty as his own, Christmas was going to be given a new face. In truth, though, Francis had the wealth of all of heaven in his heart, and he walked with our Lord. So let us now come forward 800 years to our time. And here we see something that proves that St. Francis was in fact doing something quite spectacular at that time. Because look at this monastery here. It is such a picturesque place. It is like a little gem, a charm from a mystical land that was built to honor this event. Have you ever seen anything like this? Such a beautiful little place, something surreal, clinging to the mountain slope somehow, as if suspended by angels. Of course, we don't need to say this is not a computer graphic animation. It is something real on this earth. And it was built to celebrate what St. Francis was doing at that time. Wouldn't you like to visit such a place? And now we go back to Greco. It is 12:23, as we said, and Christmas is about to be celebrated. Now, up until then, Christmas would have simply been a midnight mass, a beautiful mass in Latin, very reverent, but that is what it was, just a mass. But St. Francis within himself had such a deep devotion to the feast of Christmas already, and he wanted to express this. His first biographer, in fact, tells us that Francis referred to Christmas as the feast of feasts. And he celebrated with unutterable devotion. And so now, as St. Francis had been transformed by Lady Poverty, he was about to transform Christmas for all of us. And as we said, people were around, they were stirring, and they were gathering in the woods to see what was going to happen in anticipation. They were coming together, they had candles and torches in their hands, and this created such a beautiful environment around. And this was because of their curiosity that had been aroused because they had been called there by the saint. And now we move away from the cave where the saint was. Further down, we find a niche that has been carved into the rock. And that was to be the new stable, as if in Bethlehem. And today, of course, that is a venerated shrine as well, honoring the birth of our Lord. Now, St. Francis wanted all of creation to participate in the worship of God. But how was he going to do that? And so he thought, and he came up with this idea. He had to have live animals brought in, cattle, an ox and an ass, a donkey that is, and straw to feed them with, and water from the stream. He had all of this there. And we're going to see in a little bit how there was a miracle associated with the straw later on. Now, because Francis knew he was an astute teacher and preacher, he knew that a picture speaks 1,000 words. And so he would make an impression. He wanted to make an impression through a real life setting, an impression that would speak millions down the centuries. But that wasn't enough. He needed real people to act in this whole scene. And so he chose someone as Mary, another person as Joseph, and all of the characters. He did not just want statues there. He wanted something live, a live performance. He found people for the wise men, those who had been called by the star that was shining in the distance. And he chose others to be the shepherds who heard the angels singing in exaltation of our salvation. But in this, who could represent our Lord? There was no one worthy. Our Lord in the crib, at the infant Jesus, no one worthy could be found. And so instead, he just used a very beautiful carved wax figurine to represent our Lord. Let us continue listening, and we'll see how our Lord blessed this whole scene with the seraphic visions and miracles. Everything is set, and Mass began. Francis, he was just dressed as a deacon. Our great saint, he considered himself unworthy to be a priest. So he was just a deacon, and he sang the Holy Gospel, they say, in a seraphic voice. And then he preached to everyone standing around. And he spoke such charming words, they said, concerning the nativity of the poor king in the little town of Bethlehem. And so from this springs all of our traditions, so many traditions of Christmas. We're going to take a little break now because we have to keep these videos short. There will be a second part to this video, and there we'll be hearing exactly the words that St. Francis preached and how this whole thing unfolded, the miracles that took place. So that's going to be in our next video. Do join us for that. And the best way is going to be to make sure that you are subscribed to our channel. Then you click that reminder bell. Then YouTube will send you a notification of the next video as it comes out. Another way, of course, a little more difficult, more complicated, will be to search under Great Saints, one word, Great Saints, for our YouTube channel. You'll find it there. You'll find the video on the channel. But of course, as soon as the second part is released, we're going to place a link on the end screen of this video. And then you can just click on that link. If it might already be there, just click on the link. It will take you through to the second video. And we do also ask you to help spreading this message of St. Francis, his Christmas message, and share it with your friends, your colleagues, anyone who may benefit. And one final reminder, please make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. It's a new channel, and then you'll be part of our apostolate. And we do thank you for watching this video, and we will be back with part 2. It will be out soon.
Gabriel